Today I'm counting down my top 10 favorite hockey movies of all time. Coming in at number 10 is Youngblood. Starring Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, and Keanu Reeves, the film follows Lowe as he dreams of being a professional hockey player and makes his way to Canada to try out for a team. He ends up earning a spot, but learns the hard way that he lacks one crucial skill. He can't throw a punch to save his life. It's tough for a pretty boy to make it, and with Lowe lacking physical toughness, his days at the rink look like they'll be short-lived. So Lowe learns how to fight, and returns to the ice ready to beat the snot out of his arch-rival. Coming in at number 9 is Sudden Death. Starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, Sudden Death is best described as Die Hard at a hockey game. Van Damme plays a former firefighter who's the only one that can stop a group of terrorists who take the vice president hostage at Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Hockey takes a backseat to the action, but there's still a lot of great hockey-centric moments, like Van Damme taking on a terrorist dressed as the Penguins mascot and stepping in as the goalie during the game. Plus, there's a few cameos from NHL stars. Coming in at number 8 is Idol of the Crowds. Lots of folks love John Wayne from his days as a gunslinger in westerns. But Wayne also starred in a little-known and hard-to-find hockey movie called Idol of the Crowds. Wayne plays a talented amateur hockey player who's recruited to play pro hockey. He's reluctant at first, since he dreams of being a chicken farmer. But when he learns how much money he could make, he agrees solely so he can make enough to upgrade his farm. His talent makes him a star, but being a simple country bumpkin, he soon finds himself getting taken advantage of by gamblers and dames. Coming in at number 7 is Indian Horse. A favorite of film festivals across Canada, Indian Horse explores issues that other hockey movies dare not touch. The story follows the life of Saul, a young Indigenous Canadian boy growing up in the abusive Canadian residential school system. Throughout his life, Saul deals with soul-crushing racism and abuse. As he struggles with life-threatening alcoholism, Saul doesn't let the hardships he endures keep him from becoming a great hockey player. The small movie gains strong acclaim for its honest and grounded approach to issues not often tackled in sports movies. Next up at number 6 is Mystery Alaska, which tells the story of a small town that looks forward to the weekly hockey game that takes place on a frozen pond. Hockey's the biggest thing in their lives, and the entire town gets in on it. This draws the attention of a writer for Sports Illustrated, who runs a story on the games, and suggests their team is just as good as any NHL squad. The NHL doesn't take the news lying down, and they suggest an exhibition game between the New York Rangers and the local team. Number 5 on the list is The Rocket. The film follows the life of Rocket Richard, beginning with his years as a teenager, his ascension to the Montreal Canadiens, and up to the Richard Riot. It ends just before Richard led the Habs to 5 straight Stanley Cup championships. The Rocket won 9 Genies at the Canadian Film Awards, including Best Actor, Best Director, and Best Cinematography. Coming in at number 4 on the list is Goon. After his iconic role in the American Pie movies, Sean William Scott starred in one of the best hockey movies of all time. In Goon, he plays lovable bouncer Doug Glatt, who's a gentle giant with a gift for punching people's lights out. The tough-as-nails bouncer takes no pleasure in violence, but when the local team sees how good he is at brawling, they convince him to join. He quickly becomes the team enforcer, taking on a guardian role in protecting his teammates from other players. As his reputation grows, Doug the Thug's targeted by other enforcers and has to fight his way through games to help his team make the playoffs. Doug's heart of gold makes him one of the most lovable hockey players to grace the screen. Number 3 on my list is The Mighty Ducks, which deserves a top 3 spot because it's a staple of so many millennials' childhoods. The film features arrogant lawyer Gordon Bombay, who's sentenced to 500 hours of community service coaching Pee Wee hockey. The team he's assigned to is struggling mightily. It's not until they manage to recruit a few unconventional players and learn a few life lessons that they start playing like a real team. The Mighty Ducks went on to become a full-fledged trilogy and even spawned an NHL franchise, making it an iconic part of hockey history. Next up is Miracle at number 2. Most Cold War movies are about nuclear war, or spies going toe-to-toe with their Russian counterparts. But one of the best Cold War stories happened far from the front lines. Miracle tells the story of one of the most iconic sports moments of all time, when the Americans took down the Soviets in Lake Placid at the 1980 Olympics. The Soviets were considered the best team in the world, and no one expected the Americans to stand a chance. But led by their legendary coach, the team managed to rally and pull off an impossible victory. Not only was the Miracle on Ice one of the greatest moments in American sports, but it's also the foundation for one of the most realistic and entertaining hockey movies of all time. Coming in at number 1 is Slapshot, the greatest hockey movie ever made. Considered one of the best comedies of the 70s, Slapshot is a straight-up classic. It follows the Charlestown Chiefs, a fictional minor league team led by player-coach Reggie Dunlop, played by Paul Newman. When Dunlop discovers his struggling team is going to disband at the end of the season, he unleashes the iconic Hanson brothers on the league. The brothers wreak havoc with their dirty and violent style of play, which gains the Chiefs' popularity in the declining factory town. Even in the critically acclaimed career of Paul Newman, Slapshot is considered one of his best, which is really all the praise the film needs. Drop your thoughts and personal top 10 lists in the comments. Thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe to support the channel.